Welcome to Corrections Mama 27 channel. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, share, and hit that notification bell. So, this story, I'm going to call it Dirty Martini. Okay, this is about people having sex at work, people having sex at the prison. It does happen. It's disgusting, and I don't recommend it. I just wanted to let this be a video that maybe some people may reconsider this, okay? I call it don't crap where you eat, all right? It's like you got this nice dinner plated, right? You've got your schedule, you've got your money coming in, and then you just plop a big old piece of, you know what, on that dinner plate. Gross. You just contaminated your entire career, all right? That's what it is. Having sex at work does, okay? It contaminates your career. It contaminates the way money comes into your bank account so you can pay your bills. It's just stupid and irresponsible and very selfish, and it's just ridiculous that anyone would do that. It's just a dumb move. So that's my advice to you guys. Don't crap where you eat, okay? Don't get involved in relationships of people that you're directly working with at the same shift and supervisors and stuff. I know sometimes people date and whatever while they're at work. I did that also at times, but I never dated my supervisor. I didn't date somebody that I had to work directly with or work under. So, that's just something I just never did because I knew instinctively that it causes problems. So anyway, this is about Dirty Martini, and there's two male officers. Dirty Martini, I'm referring to her, she was a teacher, and this happened on Sunrise at Lewis Complex. And Sunrise is a unit that is for minors. It's a minor unit. And these are kids that are under 18. And these kids have been convicted as adults with felonies. So this is going on a yard with minors, which concerning me. If you have no boundaries and you have no rules, and you're just going to have sex at work at a prison when you're around kids, it kind of makes me wonder, would she have sex with a male inmate that's a minor? Would they be safe? And the same thing with the male officers. Like, I've always seen officers that are promiscuous and that have sex at work end up getting demonized in the end and ostracized from everybody because they pretty much run through the shift, and then they feel lonely and misunderstood, and then they turn to the inmates, which is illegal. They're in our custody and care. It's a conflict of interest. They cannot consent to sex. So that's always where it goes. They always turn that way, especially for the women. So anyway, This is what happened. So Dirty Martini is a teacher, a female teacher, somewhat attractive, depending on what you consider attractive. She has tattoos and stuff, and she was having sex at work with Officer Liz and Officer Sesame. They're shagging the teacher in an area that is reserved for the store. Now, the store is where inmates can buy products and hygiene and food and whatever, right? But they have to order it on a bubble sheet, and it's been privatized out. We used to do it as officers, and now it's been sold, contracted out to, another company to do that. And so the store is generally, nothing is in there but shelves and stuff, a few shelves and maybe a chair and a desk, because the store only comes in like periodically, and they don't keep merchandise on site for obvious reasons, because these inmates are thieves and criminals, and they'll break in and steal all the goods and the food and stuff. So they don't keep anything like that on site. They bring in a truck, and if it's not store day, the store's empty. And there's a window there. There's a window in that room and a door. And there's several offices like that. But this one in particular, I've been told by reliable sources that this is where this conduct and behavior was taking place. And that Lazy Liz is what we used to call him. Now, he wasn't always lazy, but I guess he is kind of a pervert. So he decided that he wanted to make this room into his own little man cave where he could get sex and blowjobs. And so to create some privacy, he put up some cardboard. And some pictures or whatever, to obscure and to make sure nobody could see in. And of course, he has the key to this room. There are other keys sets that have that key set, but most of the time people just don't go in there because there's nothing in there. There's no check to do. You walk by and you check the door. And when you check the door, you're making sure it's locked or not. And that's all that we're responsible to do in that room, except for, making sure there's no inmates hiding in there, but the door's locked. There shouldn't be anyone in there. Anyway, when you block that window, that automatically makes me suspicious. I've seen other officers do that before, and I'm thinking, what are they doing in there that they don't want anyone to see? What are they doing? Yeah, that's what they're doing. That's right. And this isn't the first time this happened on this yard. There is a maintenance officer that had a maintenance office, and he would cover up his window, and then one of the CO3s, a counselor, would come in there and give him BJs under his desk. Like, you people just go find a hotel room or something. Are you so cheap that you got to do it at work because your family's at home and you can't bring your hoe bag home? Like, it's disgusting. Anyway, so I guess Liz and Sesame have been shagging this teacher. And trust me, it's been going on a long time. This guy was doing this a long time. Long before I even retired, he was shady like that. He was having sex with other officers. He was having sex with the teacher, anybody who would oblige him, I guess. So, and this officer has also, Liz in particular, he was already in trouble because he had broke through a firewall on the computer and was watching pornography or whatever. So he was already under investigation and already on the hot seat. But that didn't deter him, did it? He decided this is going to be, his little love cave or whatever. And so I think it's abhorrent. But who cares what I think, right? Okay, so you're shagging, you're inviting this teacher in here, and you're shagging the teacher, Dirty Martini. And then they get caught, of course, right? And then there's a little investigation which doesn't really last very long. And they waited to the end of shift, and they decided to walk off Liz and Sesame. Now, when I say walk them off, it's usually one of the administrators or one of the officers that they're basically plainclothes police officers that work within the prison. And they show up and they take you by your arm, and it's kind of like a perp walk. Sometimes if it's a felony or if it's something they can actually arrest you for, sometimes they will do that, but most of the time they're not. They just walk them off and they lose their job, they lose their pension. The state has to give them the money that they pay into the pension, but not the money that the state matched. So you're not going to be getting state money for keeping your job for so long when you get fired under circumstances like this. So anyway, they got busted, and they walked them off. They made them work the whole shift and then walk them off at the end of shift, to show everybody that, as an example, this is not tolerated, which is totally stupid because they've been tolerating this crap for years. Trust me, other people knew this was going on. I knew it was going. Ain't nobody listen to me though. No one listens to me. You know, they don't ever care what I have to say. So we all knew this stuff was going on, and finally, something happened. They got busted, and then they walked those two guys off, and then they take her and say, and she says that she was raped. She says, look, you know, this was involuntary, whatever, right? Now listen, I don't know if they raped her or not, but I'm telling you, I knew both of these guys, and I don't believe they're those kind of guys. I don't believe they would have done that. And if they did do that, wouldn't they have been arrested? Wouldn't they have gotten a mugshot or something? And for her to claim that, and I mean, look, this is already devastating. And now, like for their job, and their families are eventually going to find out, hopefully. And it's just ridiculous that she would claim that if it isn't true. I don't know if it's true or not. She's claiming that's what happened. My take on it is she's trying to save her ass. And she'll burn anybody in the way. She don't care. She's going to run you over. She'll throw you under the bus. She's going to torture your dumb ass because that's all she cares about is herself. And that's all these people care about is their self. They don't care about how it affects other staff. They don't care how it affects the work environment. They don't care that it's inappropriate. They don't care what it leads to. They don't think about that. They don't even care about that. They're just thinking about having sex and getting off and the excitement of doing it at work in a public place. Like, how stupid? How stupid can you be? Pretty stupid, trust me. So, that's what she's claiming. I'm not buying that. Personally, I'm just not buying that. So they offered to move her, probably trying to be cautious, thinking about maybe getting sued or something, right? So during the investigation, they were going to move her from Sunrise over to one of the other units across the street. But there was no openings for her to do what she needed to do there, and maybe the other teachers just didn't want her there. I don't know, but they said, look, it's not going to happen. You're not going to be able just to come over here. So they said, this is what we suggest. We're going to move you to Winslow. Okay, Winslow is up north in the high desert. Okay, there's nothing out there. There's no housing. You have to rent housing in Flagstaff and stuff. Unless it's changed. If there is housing, people that live there and work there are already renting it or bought it. So there's a housing problem up there, and I'm pretty sure it probably hasn't changed. So anyway, Winslow is a small unit, and what they do is that's where they pass the trash. I call it passing the trash. And this is why. Because when somebody screws up really bad and they're trying to cut somebody a break, why anyone would cut someone a break that was behaving this way in the first place? I'll tell you why. My guess is, and this happens all the time. This happens in the prison system. It happens in other places. It's corruption, all right? So you do me a favor and I'll protect you and do you a favor. So I'm not sure how those transactions take place. I can only imagine. I know they do take place because I've heard of people talking about it. I've heard of people admitting it, that they would give a BJ to somebody that had some pull or control, or they thought they could help them somehow when they get into trouble, or even for something silly like, wanting a good post or whatever. And so this kind of stuff does happen, and maybe they do more than a BJ. I don't know. I never participated in those kind of transactions. I'd rather walk through the fire than do that. I'm not going to sell myself to somebody for and barter sex for any favors. That's just immoral and disgusting. So anyway, we know this sort of thing happens. I've seen, you know, deputy wardens and wardens get in trouble for drinking and driving in a state vehicle and then get us sent off to Winslow. And then like 5 years later, when they think it's blown over and everyone's forgotten, they promote him and bring him back over to Lewis to be the warden. Like, are you kidding me? But this stuff happens. It does. How does it happen? Our guess is, my guess is probably as good as yours. So, believe it or not, Dirty Martini said that she wanted for the state. She says, well, are you going to pay for my transition and my move and my relocating fees? All the costs that it cost me to have to relocate to Winslow, are you going to pay for that? Why should the state pay for your relocation? Because you're shagging officers on a minors unit in the store. You should be fired on the spot. But they didn't fire her because she's claiming that it was not consensual. So they're trying to, like, you know, cover it up or give her the better treatment because, one, she's a female. Two, she's claiming it was unconsensual, which I doubt. Maybe they probably doubt it too. They're just covering their ass. So anyway, so she's claiming that she wants them to pay for her relocation fees and she wants them to pay for her apartment. What? So now they gotta pay you rent too? What? That's crazy. Some people are so entitled, right? Like, at this point, you should be glad you have a freaking job. And if I was you, I'd bust out as much overtime as you can because you know what? It ain't going to be long before that job is gone and you're going to have to find something somewhere else. And let me tell you something. When you get fired from the state, oftentimes they blackball you. And it's good luck finding a job at Jack in the Crack. Like, you can't even get a job packing pretzels at Snyder Pretzels after you get fired from DOC. So, good luck to you. You should just be grateful and be walking on eggshells and hoping that you get through this, you know, and still have a job at the end of the day. So, anyway, are you kidding me? I can't believe she's making these wild requests. And I think maybe she's thinking, oh, they're scared because they think this was unconsensual. They're scared. You know what? What don't come out in the wash comes out in the rinse, okay? It'll all be figured out. So, anyway, so they're trying to pass her over to Winslow, and she's making all these stipulations, and she's actually trying to grab the purse strings and take a bunch of money with her. Are you kidding me? So, anyway, I'm looking at my notes here real quick. So anyway, they walked off both male officers and then at the end of their shift, and Liz said he's going to try to fight it. Fight what? If I worked at the dollar store and was caught having sex at work, pretty sure I'd be fired. You're working for the state of Arizona, which should hold you to a higher standard. And you're having sex at work on a minors unit, and you're reviewing porn on a computer for the state. And now you think they owe you a job? You're going to fight it? I'm sure you've made some enemies because this guy's made enemies because he's been having sex with people at work for years. There's got to be somebody there that's going to testify that he's a dirty dog and that they did it with them or whatever. Like, are you kidding me? What an idiot. Take your licks and go home, you know, and hope you can get a better job somewhere else. And keep your ding dong in your pants. Zip them up when you're at work. Quit cheating on your family. That's horrible. I'm just, ugh. As far as I'm concerned, some of these people, they're nearly a sex offender in my mind. You know what I mean? But I'm not saying that he did anything to her without consent. I don't believe he did. I think they were all consenting parties and just being a bunch of perverts. So, what do you guys think? Do you think you should be allowed to have sex at work? Do you think that's what we're there for? Do you think it's okay? Do you think they should be able to negotiate and wiggle their way out of this shit? I don't believe so. I don't agree with that. I don't think so. Never mind what it's doing to his kids and his wife. They both have kids and wives at home, but they're shagging everybody they can at work. It's crazy. Do you know of people at your job that are having sex at work? Does it tick you off? Do they get special treatment? Do they get treated better than some other staff? I bet there's a lot of people out there. It's not just the prison this happens at. I think it's just more egregious when it happens at the prison because we're supposed to be responsible adults leading by example. You know what I mean? All that good stuff, right? Nobody cares about any of that stuff anymore. So, whether or not Dirty Martini is like married or not, I don't know. I don't know anything about that much about her. I do remember her and I do know who she is, but that's about it. I don't know any personal information about her. I really don't care to. Clearly, she's a hoe bag, okay? Clearly, the two men are man whores, So, that's, and I've always felt that way anyway, so. So, anyway, your first red flag that the guy, I guess Dirty Martini was upset because she felt that she got mad because Liz was married. For your first clue that he's married is that he's not having sex at home, that you're having sex at work. He can't bring you home. He didn't even buy you a movie ticket or a coffee, Maybe he brought you in a burrito from Filiberto's or something. Like, are you serious? Like, this guy has nothing invested in you. Nothing. And then you're all acting like, oh, he's married. Well, what does that matter? If you're saying it's not consensual, why are you upset that he's married? It wasn't consensual anyway, remember? What the heck? So, anyway, she denied the transfer. She didn't want to do it. And I was told that she quit. And the other two were walked off. So, so this is what's going on right now over there. And you know what? Good for them. Good for them. I think they deserve it. Listen, when you sit down at your dinner table and you have a nice plate set, you've got your chicken and your vegetables and your rice or potatoes, right? Right? Okay, that's your job. That represents your money, right? And then you go out in the yard and you pick up a big old stinky, steamy piece, chunk of dog shit. Just plop that right on your plate. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. You're crapping where you eat. That is what you're doing when you start having relationships and sex at work and start having like these major relationships at work and everything. You shouldn't be having relationships with people you work directly with. It's inappropriate. At least don't be on the same shift, It's crazy. But you guys know this happens. People do this all the time. They have relationships with their boss and, all this stuff. It happens all the time. It happens in law firms. It happens everywhere. And it always turns out bad. It rarely ever has a good outcome, okay? And it makes it even worse if these people are married, which they usually are. That's why they're doing it at work. So that is the end of the story. Please check your morals. Please make sure that you're not doing this kind of stuff. It makes it for a hostile work environment, honestly, for everybody else. We all know you're doing this crap. We all know what's going on. We just ain't saying something. We're just waiting for the train wreck so we can get our popcorn and enjoy the show. All right? So that's that. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for all your support. Please like this video. If you like the video, please share and push that notification bell. Y'all have a great day.